thank you all for taking the time to learn a little bit more about our community. I'll introduce myself very quickly. I'm Mike Naraki. I'm the principal of AMSA. This is my 12th school year at AMSA, I believe. I think calendar-wise, I've been here for a little over 10 years. And we have Miss Edwards here. Miss Edwards, if you want to quickly introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Linda Edwards. I'm the school registrar, so I'm the person who'll be dealing with your applications. I've been with the school about 13 years. I've had two children who went through, and I've been the registrar. This is the start of my 4th year.
Thanks, Linda. And you'll hear from Linda to cap off this presentation. A little bit about AMSA, a little background information. Contrary to some beliefs out there, we are a free public charter school. I can't tell you how many times, just from living in the community, being around the area for a while, and when I tell people if I'm wearing an AMSA shirt or people just find out that I work at AMSA, the number one question that I usually get from someone who's not very familiar with the way charter schools work, they ask me how much the tuition is to get their child in there. How much does it cost? And there is no cost. We're not a private school. We're, as it says here, free public charter school. So just to clarify that, our enrollment, we have 966 students in grades 6 through 12. So we have 7 grades, 966 students, which averages out to right around 140 students per class. Our average class size it really varies depending on the grade level and what classes you're taking, especially in the upper school. But on average, I would say our class size is around 20 to 25 students. The absolute cap for a class at our school, except for chorus, actually. Chorus, we allow more. But our cap for our classes is set at 26 students. But I would say on average, we're probably closer to 22, 23 if we actually average it out. But like I said, it really varies depending on which grade you're in and whatnot. Core towns that we serve: Clinton, Maynard, Marlboro, and Hudson. Our students come from, right now, we come from over 33 different cities and towns across the state. And our students, we surveyed them, I want to say 2 school years ago. And at that time, we had over 50 languages represented at the school among our student body, which is great. Great, shows our diversity for sure. As it says here, we're a supportive learning environment, and we really do have high expectations as a staff for ourselves. We hold ourselves accountable, hold each other accountable to bring the best that we can to work each day, and we certainly expect that from our students as well. It says here, the second to last bullet, we work hard and we play hard. And I believe that that's certainly true. If your child does end up attending AMSA, they'll certainly have to put in the hard work and dedication in the classroom. Outside the classroom as well, I think we definitely know how to offer some fun and exciting activities, sports, social events, things of that nature. So that's the reason for that bullet there: working hard in the classroom, and also playing hard, whether that's competing in a club, competing in a sport, or just joining an interest club and really committing yourself and having an overall great learning experience. Moving on here. So our mission and core values, our mission statement, you can find the full statement on our school website. But we broke it down here in this presentation. The mission statement's actually, it's about a paragraph long, but we break it up here into 3 parts. Celebration of knowledge is mentioned in our mission. Servicing children of all backgrounds, all abilities to excel in all subjects is outlined in there. And then empowering our students to succeed. We really do live by these. We talk about these as a staff. We mention this to our students quite often. We meet with our students at the beginning of every school year, individually by grade level. And we discuss our mission and our core values. Our community is like a big family, very tight knit, and I really do believe that if you know anybody, that if you have any friends, other family members who attend AMSA right now, I think that the vast majority, I would hope, would attest that it's a very tight knit community. It's like a huge family. Our teachers, our staff really, really pay close attention to our students' performance inside and outside the classroom, but especially inside the classroom. looking at data, making sure that we're providing the best educational experience for all of our students. And when a student walks through our doors, no matter where they're at, whatever their baseline is when they enter, as far as their education level goes, we really do believe that we have a program in place at our school that will help students reach their potential, or even go above and beyond their perceived potential when they first walk through the doors. Parents and students perceive potential. We've really done some great things over here over the years, and empowering students to succeed. That really focuses on success in the classroom while they're here, but we really do want to graduate students that are ready to enter into college and have success in college and be a team player, be a collaborator. Many of our classes feature group work, plenty of independent work, independent thinking, but also group work, teamwork, getting used to working with others, assigning roles and understanding duties and responsibilities and things like that. And I really believe that, when our alumni come back and visit us for events, or they just come by to drop by and say hello, they all tell us that they felt very, very well prepared for college and for the workforce when they enter that after they go to college. Or some of our students, sometimes they take a gap year right after high school, or they go into the military, or they start working right away. And we like to think that we appropriately service all of them and prepare them for what's to come. Our core values, at the bottom of the page here, we established these about 3 years ago. This was a community-wide effort. We had workshops, meetings with staff members, with parents, students, everybody you could think of. All stakeholders were involved, the board of trustees, everyone. And we came up with these 3 core values. Prior to 3 years ago, we didn't really have any values established. We may have had some stuff down on paper, but it wasn't really firmed up. So these core values, integrity, excellence, and community, like I said, we put these into place 3 years ago, and they're a part of the conversations that we have with our students all the time, and among the staff members as well, and the parents. So integrity, we ask our students to model integrity, do the right thing, even when no one's looking, or when they are looking, and to be truthful in the work that you provide and that you put out while you're here. And excellence, the pursuit of excellence, to us, that does not mean you have to receive an A+ on every single assignment that you pass in, an A+ on every mark on your report card. To us, we talk about that pursuit and committing yourself and putting in 110% effort and being able to live with the results, because you pretty much gave it all that you could. So we really try to instill that in our students. And then community, being a kind member of the community, helping each other out. We have some great clubs that are community service oriented, that help out the surrounding community, surrounding cities and towns in the area. And we really do preach community. We have plenty of community celebrations, community meetings, and celebrate the diversity that we have in our school system here at AMSA. So academic life prior to entering AMSA. So if you do earn a spot through the lottery and you accept a seat here at AMSA, there are a couple of assessments that would take place. So first off would be a math placement exam. This exam would be provided. Usually we conduct those, I want to say late April, usually right after right around the April vacation time. And students' math levels are determined through this math placement exam, which our math department has put a tremendous amount of effort in creating in an exam that gives us a solid vision for where the student is at level wise. And students are not stuck and married to this level throughout their entire time at the school. Their performance after the exam, their actual performance in the classroom, can cause them to adjust levels as well. So I don't want any students or parents out there to think that this placement exam determines the rest of your your future in mathematics and has an impact on your the same exact impact on your schedule throughout your entire time at AMSA. It's not the case. Performance definitely is a huge part of determining levels. We have a reading assessment through the Lexia program. If it's determined through that assessment that any students require any any additional services in reading, we have Dr. Catherine Cole, our literacy coordinator, would take care of that. She's been teaching for quite a while now. She's very, very well experienced, and she runs the reading program. And then the WIDA screener is a screener to gauge potential language needs for students, and that would be based on any student taking the WIDA screener. It would be a result of the responses to the home language survey, which is part of the package when you it's part of the paperwork that you would fill out. So if there are any language barriers, language needs, we do have a full-on ELL department run by Miss Kate Lee, who does a wonderful job with that. So real quick, we'll go through what grade 6, grade 7, and grade 8 would look like scheduling wise. I'm not going to go through every single bullet here, but you'll see that everyday classes. You'll have math, computer science, English, and history. Now, I do want to talk about Latin very quickly. All students in grades 6 through 8, the foreign language that they will take part in is Latin. And once students hit 9th grade here, they're in the high school. There's the option of pursuing on with Latin, or taking Spanish or French. The reason why we have Latin as the only foreign language option for students in grades 6 through 8, number one, it's part of our charter as a charter school. The charter is sort of like, it was our application that we filed with the state. It's sort of like our constitution in a way. It has some of the building blocks of, that we still stand on here to this day. So that is outlined in our charter. And also, I know that there was a lot of thought put into this with Latin, with the vocabulary development and the terminology that pops up in some of our science courses, and the vocabulary necessary to perform well on the high stakes testings, like PSAT, SATs, and things of that nature. So there was plenty of thought put into that. So grades 6 through 8, again, students will be taking Latin as their foreign language, and then upper school, once they reach 9th grade, they'll have the options will open up for them. And you'll see we have phys ed, a grammar class, and art as well. 7th grade, students move on to algebra for math. History remains everyday subject. In English, you'll see that we introduce geometry. Computer science goes down to an every other day class. And we introduced 2 new sciences. So biology was, I'll go back real quick, grade 6, you'll see that biology was the first science the students are introduced to in 6th grade. And then with 7th grade, we bring in chemistry and physics. 8th grade, you'll see how the top portion here, the everyday classes, sort of shrunk since the first slide, or the 6th grade slide. So we have mathematics and we have English, and then you'll see that we introduce earth science in there for the sciences. History turns into an every other day course. And you'll see art and Latin remain in there. And health and physical education is a course that takes place every other day for all students throughout the entirety of their time at AMSA. So we have 180 school days a year. 90 days out of that year, students will have health and physical education. Figured I would throw that out there. Our directed study program. Directed study, great program that we've had since for the last 16 years. That's how old our school is since the start. We've had we call it DS, directed study. It's a 45-minute block of time each day, starting H block, where the students can take part in a traditional study hall if they so choose, or they could use this as time to pretty much utilize office hours for the lower school teachers. So the vast majority of our lower school teachers are free, have prep periods, or they actually run a directed study during H block. So I gave the example in our earlier session today. If I'm a student in a math class, I'm in sixth grade, and I sit through math class, and it's new material. The new concepts are just flying right over my head. I'm not really understanding what's going on. I can go to that 6th grade math teacher. I'll use Miss Fida is one of our math teachers. That student at the end of the class can say, "Hey, Miss Fida, I really had trouble grasping these concepts today. I need a little extra help. Can I come see you during directed study?" So Miss Fida, in that case, she'd fill out a pass for the student. And then when directed study period hit later on that day, or if it took place the following day, that student has the pass. They would show it to their directed study teacher and say, I need to go see Miss Fida. And off they go to work one-on-one or in small groups with the math teacher. That's sort of how that period operates. Every 8 days on day 8 of our rotating schedule, we do have an advisory period which takes place during the directed study, and this really focuses on character building. A couple examples of some of the items that our counseling department put together. So our school counselors, the lower school counselors, created an entire curriculum for our directed study teachers to use, and they've been building on it each year. This advisory period's been in effect for about 2 or 3 school years now. It's worked wonders. It's great. You can see they cover Bullying Prevention Week. They discuss topics of integrity, responsibility. I was in some directed studies recently. Just a couple days ago, I visited DS. Across the board, I visited probably 8 or 9 across the 3 different grade levels, and they were all discussing mindfulness the other day, because it was advisory day, and the students seem to really have bought into it over the years. So it's a nice program for sure. So student life, there are many opportunities for students to socialize. I mentioned this earlier, working hard, playing hard, having fun. We do have there are school dances under normal circumstances. I don't think we'll be having anything anytime soon this year. Games, we'll talk about athletics and some of the competitive clubs in a little bit. And our PTO, who they're wonderful, by the way. PTO at AMSA is great. They put on many events and fundraisers and social events to bring folks together and develop some connections, spark some new connections. Linda Edwards, who you'll hear from soon, who she introduced herself earlier, she actually, under normal circumstances, once the lottery is complete and we have our seats filled for the following year, usually while the students are in 5th grade or 6th grade or 7th grade and they're entering in, she usually throws together a pizza night, social type of like a game night too. The kids play games and whatnot together in the spring prior to them arriving to campus in the fall. So hopefully we can make something like that happen. Some of the clubs that we offer, some lower school. These aren't lower school specific, but these are ones that are definitely open to lower school. These are just some examples. We have a drama club, which is high participation rate at our school. We have a middle school math team, bot ball, creative writing club, a book club, and we started a Harry Potter club. One of our history teachers a couple of years ago, Miss Morena, started Harry Potter club. So that just gives you an idea of the interest clubs and competitive clubs and some of the other offerings that we have here at the school. Field trips, middle school, or you'll hear me say middle school and lower school. So we call our middle school grades our lower school. So just in case you're wondering, but we do have middle school grade based community building field trips. Our 6th graders climb or they hike Mount Wachusett together for a little community building exercise. Our 7th graders usually have a Canopy Lake trip. They also go to the Worcester Art Museum for a day. We have our 8th graders who I know they usually go through some sort of team building field trips. I know they went through a ropes course and like some sort of obstacle course challenge that involved collaboration and teamwork over the years. And then once students get into high school, we continue on with field trips. Our 10th grade is known for having a big field trip to Washington, D.C. each year. And our seniors have a senior picnic every year, as well as a trip to Disney to cap off their time here at the school. So what separates middle school at AMSA from other middle schools around the state or around the country for that matter? We believe that it has to do with our 7-year vision. So students who do enter AMSA in 6th grade and they go through the whole program, that's 7 years worth. We're all on the same campus. We have 3 buildings, all on the same campus. The staff, we have quite a few teachers that teach at the upper and lower school levels. A lot of crossover there. Our staff members stay in close touch with each other and discuss student performance, like I said earlier, and just discuss our students in general. And it's really, like I said, a tight-knit family type of feel. So we really get to know our students from the time they enter till the time they graduate, especially if they're here for that 7 years, it's a huge benefit to the student and to us. Uh, we do have a rigorous course of study. We do cover high school level content at the middle school level. Quick example that I shared earlier, our science department chair, Dr. Giray, his name's Dr. Scott Giray. He shared with me that when students start chemistry in 7th grade, so they'll take lower school students will take 7th grade chemistry, 8th grade chemistry. By the time they complete 8th grade chemistry, they have about 70 to 7, he said about 3/4, 75% of a high school chemistry education at that point. That's how much is covered at our middle school level. And then computer science as a core class. I said this earlier. I think our computer science program is second to none. We have wonderful, wonderful computer science teachers, very knowledgeable. They've been a part of the computer science game and field for quite a while, for a long time, and they offer some great accelerated courses, especially once you get into upper school. Cybersecurity course, data science, discrete mathematics. It's great, and I know the computer science department is looking to create another high level upper school course for computer science, and our students seem to really love the program. Another benefit with our middle school is the partnership with our high school students. So we do have a tutoring and mentoring program that's overseen by our counseling department and our deans of students. They do a wonderful job. So we have high school students, and we also have 8th grade students who specifically mentor 6th graders. And they meet after school, during directed study periods when possible. So if any students are struggling academically, they can always look into the upper school tutoring options. And also any students who are struggling in general with, acclimating themselves to the school, adjusting to AMSA at all, we can identify that. Or we, of course, if parents or students request, we can take care of them. Athletics, we'll discuss that in a future slide very soon. And then peer mediation is a new program. Our deans of students oversee the peer mediation program. Our upper school students, 11th and 12th graders, have gone through a training program, and for low level minor disputes between students, we do, our deans, depending on the circumstances, will they have the option to call on upper school students to help settle a dispute, especially among lower school students. It's a great leadership opportunity for the upper school students, and a nice learning experience, and just another source of connection between our upper school and lower school. Behavioral expectations. We have a handbook that's posted on our site. It's about 75 pages long, but it outlines all of our policies here at the school. But some of the basic ones, the key item to remember is that we really do have high behavioral expectations here at the school overall, in general. I'd like to believe that we're very proactive. Our teachers, the deans of students, the administration in general, very proactive, and we really focus on de-escalating, keeping things from escalating to a high level. We want to catch it at that low level and, take care of situations. Then we do our very best at that. Some of the popular ones to cover: cell phone policy. Students in grades 6 through 8, so lower school students, they're expected to have their cell phone, if they actually have a cell phone, it's to be in their locker during the school day and turned off. In the upper school, students can have their cell phone on their person, but it is expected to be on silent. In the high school, teachers really have the discretion to allow students to utilize their cell phones during class time for academic reasons. Lower school, it's more rare to see that. We really do emphasize the cell phone policy, where students need to keep their cell phones in their locker in the lower school. Uniform policy, I won't go too in depth on this, but I can tell you that under student life on our website, you can actually see a nice visual poster of our uniform policy. This policy has gone through many, many changes. Like I said, I've been at the school for almost 11 years now, And at one point, I was very, very concerned about where the uniform policy was going in general because it was changing every year. It was frustrating the students, the parents, staff members. Uh, I would say over the last 3 to 4 years, we have really, really established a solid uniform dress code expectation. We have not made any adjustments, any major adjustments over the last 3 to 4 years. We're in a very good place where I believe the students, I don't know if they love it. Actually, I know they don't love it, but they do appreciate the simplicity of it and the clear cut. They have a clear cut understanding of what's expected now. Whereas maybe in years past, it was a little blurry and maybe a little too intense. So it's very simple. So I encourage you to take a look if you're interested in that. But we've made tremendous strides in that area for sure. In the referral process through the dean's office, very simple. We have a student software system and a whole email system among the school, just like any other school does. If teachers have an incident occur in their class, that's a non-emergency, but something that they need to report, they would, send in a electronic notice to the deans of students, and it would automatically go into their inbox and through our school student software system. And the deans would, then find time later on in the day to call the student down to the office to address whatever matter was reported to their office by the teacher. AMSA operations, transportation. We have 2 fee-based regional buses and 10 Marlboro buses. So just to be clear here, Ms. Edwards told me to mention this. If you're a Marlboro resident and your child attends AMSA, Marlboro buses are free. There's no fee attached to that. You have transportation to school. The regional buses do have a cost associated with them, and the buses pick up in general locations, in neutral locations, if you will. They don't go, house to house, if you will. For example, we used to have a bus that went out to Worcester, and I know that they used to pick up. One of the stops was at one of the supermarkets in the parking lot area there. I'm not sure exactly where the stops are. I think it varies each year depending on locations of families who apply and reserve spots on the regional buses. For transportation information, you can go on our website. I can't see the chat right now, but I'm sure Mr. Finkel is probably posting a link to our transportation info straight from our website. And any questions there, you will want to contact our director of operations. And her name is Ann Richards, and her email will be on the last slide of this presentation tonight. Our lunch program, we do not have a working kitchen in any of our buildings. So we're not cooking food during the day, but we do contract out with a very nice food service company. And I've had some of the lunches, some of the leftovers and whatnot over the years. We offer some, it's a good meal. It really is a good meal. Our students actually, they took part in some taste testing. I think it was 2 school years ago, because we wanted to make some adjustments to the menus. So the students have definitely had a voice in the lunch program. But with our program, we are contracting out with another company, and they're delivering the food safely at the appropriate temperature, depending on the meal that day, on a daily basis. The thing to remember with our lunch program is that you do have to register or put in your meal requests a month in advance, which, in the form, I've seen it. It's very simple to follow. It lays out each day of the week and all the offerings that will be on that particular day. So students and parents would check off the boxes, check off their choices for the month in advance if they enter into the lunch program. Health office, we have 2.5 school nurses. Our lead nurse, district nurse, is Maureen Searle. She's been at the school since the doors opened. She is great. She is extremely knowledgeable and a great communicator. So if anything were to happen with, if your student were to become sick during the day, or, if the health office needs to reach out to you, they are highly effective when it comes to communication skills, and they are on top of their game. I can assure you that. And they have a very nice facility set up on the in the lower school on our campus. Very nice nurse's office. Nice area. Very spacious. Field trips, I already talked about that, but our class advisors, we have a class advisor for each grade level. They really focus on working with the students to come up with plans around field trips. And we do offer international trips aside from, they usually take place over the summer or during the April and February vacations. Many of those were canceled for this year. We work with EF Tours. We've had trips that have gone out to Italy, France, Germany. There was a World War II themed trip. That's the one I was referring to there. I think we have an Iceland trip that's on the books for later this summer. Hopefully that can go off. We did have one planned for students to go to Peru, but that unfortunately was supposed to take place in April earlier this year, but did not happen due to COVID. So we do have international trip options. We also have one going to Canada soon. I know one is scheduled for England as well at some point down the road. But again, these are really all up in the air right now. AMSA clubs, I mentioned a few examples of some of the clubs that we offer, but we do in total, under normal circumstances, we offer over 40 clubs per year. And students do have a voice in the club process. If there's an interest club, there's an interest out there from a group of students. If a student wants to start something, get the ball rolling and start something, if they can find 9 of their peers that are interested, and they can find an advisor, an adult that works at AMSA to help supervise or run the club. It's happened throughout the years. We've had many student-initiated clubs. So the number of clubs, it goes up and down each year depending on, how many survive, how many new ones we have. But on average, we have usually over 40, which is great. AMSA athletics, very quickly, we have 37 different teams throughout 23 varsity programs. Students in grades 6 through 12 can try out for any AMSA sport that's offered. We do co-op in a few programs. We have a football team. We do have football players at our school. We co-op with Maynard High School. So Maynard is the host school. Since they're the host school, they're a high school. So, lower school students could not try out for the football team. They'd have to be in 9th through 12th grade. We also co-op with Marlboro High School for boys hockey. And again, that's a high school sport. So lower school students wouldn't be able to try out for that. We are looking into potentially co-oping, I believe, in field hockey with Assabet. We did have a co-op for girls hockey, which some of our students were grandfathered into that, but that connection has no longer exists due to some changes. We were working with St. Peter Marion, but St. Peter Marion has merged with another school district, and we no longer will be co-oping with them for girls hockey. But I know Mr. Jones, our athletic director, is looking to find something out there. Some of the middle school specific sports that are out there right now, we have boys basketball, track and field, and cross country. Those are 3 areas where there are middle school specific teams that middle school students can try out for or join. We do offer, this question popped up last time, so I might as well just answer it now. We have, just to go over some of the sports, I'm not going to cover all of them, but in the fall, like I said, we do have a football option. We have boys and girls soccer program. We have cross country, which is a very, very big sport. Our track and field and cross country is huge participation rate. In the winter, we have swimming, boys and girls basketball, boys and girls swimming, indoor track and field, indoor track. I might be missing something here or there. We have a ski club, which is not affiliated with our athletic program, but we have a ski club, which is still running this year. We have a curling club, like curling, the sport, not bicep curls, like curling where they're sweeping the ice and that puck or whatever they're trying to push down there or slide down there. We have a curling club at the school, but it actually is not operating this year because the venue that we usually use, they're limiting access due to COVID. So there are other opportunities. And then in the spring, we have track and field. We have softball, baseball, boys and girls lacrosse. I think that's all I can think of right now. But take a look at our site. Everything we offer is out there for you to see. Moving on, we have school. I think I have 2 slides left, and then Miss Edwards will take over. So school counseling. We do have a school counseling department, counselors that are dedicated in grade 6 through 12. They're there to support students in the field of academics, social emotional needs, and then college and career readiness and development. They focus heavily on academic advising. They do conduct classroom lessons. They'll visit classes, and conduct lessons. They work well with our health teachers as well to conduct particular lessons throughout the school year. And of course, they're always there for individual counseling, whether that's initiated by the student or the counselor themselves. The lower school advisory, we already covered. We do have a junior and senior seminar classes. These are really focused on college preparedness, college exploration, resume building, college essays, things of that nature. This year, we are actually starting a freshman and sophomore seminar. We're getting the students, acclimated to Naviance, which is the college, application, website provider that we use and many, many other high schools in the country use, filling out the common application and just preparing for college and career development. Our counselors also handle the PSAT and AP testing, and they are the 504 coordinators for our school as well. And then our special education department, the service delivery, as it says here, is provided in an inclusion model. The majority of the IEP services that we offer, they're delivered in the general education classroom, the majority of them. We do have academic labs that are available. That's determined at the IEP team meetings. Some of our staff members, some of the folks that we do have on staff, we have a school psychologist, we have an SLP, speech language pathologist, and then some of the contracted services, we have a BCBA, PT, OT, and an assistive technology specialist. In the transition meeting, so any students entering that are on an IEP coming from another district will of course receive that paperwork before you arrive. And Lynn Jarvis, who's mentioned here at the bottom, she's our special education director. She does a wonderful job. She has many, many years of experience in this field. She will be in touch for the transition meetings as your students attend AMSA. And Miss Edwards, it's your time.
Okay. So if this,
sorry.
all right. Well, if this sounds like it's interesting to you, you can put in an application by going to the main website. You'll see a banner. It'll take you to the lottery application. All families have to make a new parent account this year. If you're a returning family or you've put in an application before, we have moved to a different system this year. So please make a new parent account and apply. The application is very basic. We're asking for basic demographics. Where do you live? How do we contact you? What grade is your child in? And whether you have a sibling at school. And the reason we offer those things is because in the lottery, siblings of current students do get first preference for any seats that are available, followed by core town residents, which, as Mr. Naraki said, Clinton, Hudson, Marlborough, and Maynard, then followed by any other towns in Massachusetts. You cannot apply for a charter school, a Massachusetts charter school, from outside Massachusetts. We do run the lottery in late February, and that date depends on the Department of Education. They have to provide us with some information before we can run the lottery. Once you receive you got accepted, you have 7 days to provide me with some basic information. You need to prove your residency, your child's birth certificate, and a report card. After that, if everything's good, we go into the registration. And as Mr. Naraki said, you will placement test in math and reading, and we'll go forwards from there. So generally we have, our biggest intake is going to be 6th grade. We'll have about 130 to 40 students probably this year for 6th grade, maybe a few more for 7th grade. 8th grade, very few students will get in because we will only be filling if a current 8th grader leaves. So, very few students will leave in 8th grade. It will only be if their family moves out of state or something. And then in 9th grade, we do take in students. 9th grade, we do generally have about a dozen seats come available as students who are with us move over to Assabet or their home school for the big high school experience or onto private school. So that's the other grade you will get entrance. We do not bring in students after 9th grade. That's the final grade we bring students in. So I think that's about it. Yep. So
Okay.
we've got, you want to go to the last slide? Just so if you do have, questions that we can't answer that are very specific, do you run this sport or something? Mr. Jones would be your go-to, but then there's other people there that you might find, you have a specific question for from that. So
Yep, and I'll leave this up while and I apologize. I should have mentioned at the beginning. It seems like the guests here are utilizing the chat to ask questions. I haven't looked at the chat yet because I've been presenting, but I should have mentioned that that's the best way to go if you have any questions. So is there anything on there that has popped up, Miss Edwards or Mr. Finkel, that I did not cover or I should answer because I do not have the chat up in front of me right now?
I believe we've got most of them. We may have missed a few. I do see it says if kids can apply for 9th grade. So the answer is yes. And so I do see that somebody is asking if Marlborough kids will be accepted because of it's called the net school spending cap. It's a huge unknown to us. We do not have an answer for that. It's something that comes from the Department of Education. You're quite willing to go on to the admissions website and you can see a brief summary. And if it really interests you, there's a link there that will take you to the Department of Education. We just don't know. And that's why we wait for that information before we run the lottery. But I do say, you need to put an application in because if you don't have an application, you can't come in. But yeah, we don't know. So just flicking back through here. In the 6th grade admissions tests, we're looking for placement. They're not really admissions. They're to work out, we want to put your child in a math class where they're not going to be overwhelmed, but they're also, not going to be challenged. So we're placing them into a level. It's
so
not,
the student already has a seat at AMSA at this point.
Yeah.
It's not an entrance exam or anything like that. It's just a placement.
It's for scheduling. The same with the reading one. We're looking to see, if they might need to be placed in reading, maybe for a month, maybe for 6 months, just to fill in any gaps they might have and to help them, so they can access the program successfully. So, no, kids, once you're in, you do not have to take the lottery every year. Once you're an AMSA student, as long as you stay, in good standing and you're attending and everything, you are an AMSA student until you decide to leave or you graduate.
Yep, I can jump in real quick, Linda. There was a question about the music program. I think I just saw a scroll by.
Yeah.
We have options for after school. So we do have a jazz club, and we last year did not run, but we do have a string ensemble as well. And we also have chorus that's offered for the upper school students. And we also have a cappella, which is a club after school. As far as during the school day, we do not have, unfortunately, we don't have any music classes in our schedule at this point in time. It's definitely something that we've been looking at. So we do offer chorus during the day, during the school day, but there are after school activities that are out there, and they do perform at arts night. We have the band or string ensemble, chorus, etc. Perform at our community meetings. I'd love to see them go to some of the athletic events once we get those, back in full swing.
Yeah.
I think somebody else, I lost it. There was a
Um,
question. Go
yeah,
ahead.
I'll jump in for a second while you're looking for that. So I do see somebody says, what do you look for in an applicant? Entrance is purely chance. It's purely through the lottery. As long as you fulfill the residency requirements and that you're entering your child in the right grade, if you're trying to enter a fourth grader into sixth grade, you'll get disqualified. But it is pure chance. It's a lottery.
Somebody asked when the lottery takes place, and that's the date's not actually set yet, is it, Linda?
No, we need that information from the Department of Education. It's somewhere between the mid to the end of February.
Yep.
We don't know how many seats will be available for ninth graders. That information we usually don't receive until over the summer when we know who from our eighth grade is not going to return.
Yeah. Somebody here said, great presentation. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Mr. Naraki, a couple earlier questions that slipped through.
Yep.
Are there opportunities to take other languages besides Latin, French, and Spanish?
Right now, the answer to that is no. We have offered Hebrew in the past. We were looking into a Mandarin option. That didn't work out. I know Sarah Preston is our department chair for foreign language and art. And I know that right now it's only Latin, French, and Spanish as the options for high school students. But we have offered others in the past, and we're trying. We're trying.
Yeah. I see somebody's asking about carpooling. Once you are registered with us, then we do have an app to help you find other families that might want to carpool. Otherwise, it's really word of mouth and things. But there are families who do carpool and form groups to do things like that. So, no, siblings are not part of the cap for Marlborough. A sibling will come in as long as we have a seat available. Then siblings get first preference for any seat that is available. There will still possibly be Marlborough siblings or anybody's siblings on wait lists for higher grades because we may get too many siblings for seats that are available.
Mm-hmm. Mr. Fickle, anything else that slipped? I think you had something else to say. I think I cut you off.
The only other one I noticed was a question about the lunch program, who the vendor was that we contract with.
Yeah. It's something connections, I think, but I couldn't remember.
I forget the exact name too.
Yeah.
Which it's just slipping my mind right now because I haven't seen them in so long. I forget. I forget, but they're local. They're in Marlborough. Like I said, that it's a really nice deal because they're close by and they can deliver and keep the food, at the correct temperature because the commute's very short for them, and they do come by every day. That company is a huge part of our lunch program. The people from the company actually, they bring the heaters and whatnot with them, and they serve the students and whatnot. So it's a nice program. I'm sorry, I can't remember the name right now.
Community Connections. Does that sound right? I see somebody's asked districts or all state music. I'm not 100% sure about this, but I think we usually have a couple of students each year who apply to do the districts.
Is this for music, you said?
Yeah.
Yeah. We do have students who go through that, and our jazz band director, his name's Ed Harlow. He signs off on that paperwork. So we have had students compete.
There's usually definitely 2 or 3 a year, but they have to be self-motivated to do it.
Yep.
We don't know about the NSS cap for other towns. So far we haven't been near the cap. So again, that's that's something we just won't know until February.
Yeah.
Any more questions that we haven't answered?
Yeah, if anybody wants to, something just popped up here.
No, we don't do the National Geography Bee, but there are plenty of other quiz. We do Quiz Bowl. We have Science Bowl. I think we did. Did we do Geography Bowl last year? There was something. Yeah, I mean, yeah, we do lots of academic type quiz games.
We have a Quiz Bowl team. If you've ever watched that show on TV, we've been on there. We had our Quiz Bowl teams made it quite far on the Quiz Bowl show, the high school Quiz Bowl show.
Yeah, was it not? Yeah, yeah.
Maybe 2 years ago. If anyone wants to, please feel free. If you want to chime in verbally, unmute yourself. You could do that if that's easier. We have about 4 minutes left, or we could call it a night too. If one child gets in, the other.
Unfortunately, you know, if you have twins or you do have siblings in the lottery, they're counted as individuals. You know, one child may get accepted, but the other child does not become a sibling until the first child has spent a full day at school. So there may be, you know, no seats available for the second child.
Yeah, and we have had that happen before with
we have, you know, and it's hard, but that's, you know, that's the rules, unfortunately.
In I don't want to say in all cases, but in some of the cases that are popping to my mind, the sibling, they've had some luck, and the other sibling has ended up, you know, making it.
Yeah, sometimes it's the next year, sometimes it's a couple of years, but yeah, you know. I see, yeah, we do have a very active PTO parent group. If you go on the AMSA website, they have their own web page and things, and you can check in with them.
Oh yeah, they're great. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
The
chat's quiet right now, so.
Yep. So get those applications in before January the 8th. That is a hard deadline. You won't be able to apply after that.
Yeah. We're receiving a lot of thank yous. The thanks goes back to all of you for taking the time to listen to us tonight and to learn a little bit more about what we're doing on 201 Forest Street in Marlboro. So thank you all. Appreciate it.